All right, thanks, guys. Coming off another great day on my Patreon website where we went 3-2 in our premium selections yesterday on that site. That's going to put us at 8-2 in our last 10 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 67% for the entire college football season on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and get into our NHL slate here for Wednesday. And we're going to begin with the Maple Leafs taking on the Islanders. That should be a great game. And that's a 7 o'clock puck drop in Long Island. The Islanders are minus 120, totals at 6. We saw a nickel move toward New York in the early wagering. The Islanders open $1.15 up to minus 120, totals at 6. 52% are leaning Islanders, 56% shaded toward the under. Right now, Toronto's catching even money on the money line. The Islanders are plus 205 on the puck line. We have Semyon Varlamov for the Islanders, Freddie Anderson for the Maple Leafs. Now, if you like Toronto in this game, just keep in mind they're taking on a New York team who's got Varlamov between the pipes tonight. He's 5-2-1 on the year, 237 goals against, 924 save percentage. The Islanders are red hot right now. Winners in 9 out of their last 10. They're in second place in the Atlantic Division at 12-3-1 on the year, 25 total points for them. They're also 8-2-1 at home this year, or as the official home team. I know at times they swap between the Nassau Coliseum and the Barclays Center. But anyway, New York, they rank in the top 3 in goals allowed. Barzal has 7 goals on the year, 14 points. He's plus 12. Bailey has 6 goals, 12 points total. And Devin Tays, 8 assists, 10 points for him. Now Toronto on the other side, losers in their last 2 straight. They're also just 4-6 straight up in their last 10. The Maple Leafs rank in the bottom 10 in shots allowed. They're 0-3 as the official Vegas underdog. And they're just 7-12 against the spread overall for the year. And of course, when I refer to the spread in the NHL, I'm referring to the puck line. Zach Hyman is still out indefinitely for the Leafs. Mitch Marner is doubtful for tonight's action as well. Now, total-wise, Toronto's 11-8 to the over for the year, 5-2 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, New York 70% to the over in their last 10 head-to-head matchups with the Leafs. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me the Islanders minus 120 and the over 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Senators, Devils, 7 o'clock, New Jersey. The Devils are the hefty $1.70 favorite on the money line, totals at 6.5. We actually saw a nickel move toward New Jersey and movement upward on the total. The Devils open 165 up to minus 170. Total open 6 up to 6.5. 65% are leaning Jersey, 52% shaded toward the over. Right now the Senators are plus 150 on the money line. New Jersey plus 145 laying the goal and a half. We have Mackenzie Blackwood for the Devils. Anders Nilsson for the Senators. Nilsson's 4-4 with a 298 goals against and a 921 save percentage. Blackwood on the other side, he just has an 896 save percentage. The Devils have also lost 2 out of their last 3. They're just 3-5 straight up in their last 8. They're in last place in the Metropolitan Division. Just 14 points for them on the year, 16 points back of first place in the Metropolitan Division. Butcher's still out. Vatanin's listed as questionable. The Devils are just 2-6 straight up at home, 2-6 against the spread in that same category. The Devils rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive shots, bottom 3 in goals allowed at home. Now the Senators on the other side, winners in 2 out of their last 3. They're also 5-4 straight up in their last 9. Pajot has 8 goals on the year, 12 points. He's also plus 15 on the season. Brown has 10 assists, 12 points. And Tkachuk and Duclair have 6 goals apiece for the Senators. Now, total-wise, Ottawa's 5-3 to the over when traveling. New Jersey, 7-1 to the over. In Newark, I'm going to lean toward the road dog. Give me the Senators plus 1.5 and the over 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Capitals, Flyers, 7:30 South Philly. The Caps are minus 120 on the road, total 6.5. We did see a 15-cent move toward Washington in the early wagering, as this one pretty much opened as a coin flip. Both teams opened up at 105. But anyway, Washington open $1.05 up to -120, total 6.5. 68% are leaning Washington, 65% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Flyers are catching even money at home. Washington's plus $2, laying the goal and a half. We had Braden Holtby for the Caps, Carter Hart for the Flyers. Hart comes into this game with just an .893 save percentage. Meanwhile, Braden Holtby on the other side, 8-1 on the year. Scotty Lawton is out indefinitely still for the Flyers. Philadelphia is also just 4-8 straight up as the dog. They're 8 points back of Washington for the division lead. Washington has been excellent on the road. 8-1-1 away from home. 9-1 against the spread in those 10 games. They've also won 6 out of their last 7 at any location. They have the most points in the NHL. 30 of them. 30 points for this Capitals team. They're led by Alex Ovechkin, who has 13 goals, 23 points on the year. Carlson, 21 assists, 29 points total. Carlson's also plus 14 on the season. Kuznetsov and Kempny plus 9 on the year as well. Washington ranks in the top 3 in scoring on average per game. Now, total-wise, Washington is 14-5 to the over on the season. They're also 70% to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Capitals -120 and the over 6.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NHL action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium selections on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Now, a lot of folks will ask me, what's the difference between Patreon and YouTube? And what I tell them is this. What we do on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. Well, if you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game available, both the side and the total, you will most definitely 100% guaranteed lose your money, all of it. You will lose. The books are too smart. The books are too good. The math is always against you. You cannot bet every single game. You just can't do it. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're personal selections of mine, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my win percentage, my record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube handicapping every single game. So if you want to check out my record, you can do that right now for free. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and get into these final 2 games for our NHL slate. Our next matchup is going to be the Dallas Stars taking on the Flames, 9:30 Eastern puck drop in Calgary. The Flames are -140, totals 5.5. We saw a nickel fade of Calgary at home. No movement on this total as of yet. The Flames open $1.45, down to -140, totals 5.5. 58% are leaning Calgary, 72% shaded toward the over. Right now, Dallas is +120 on the money line. Calgary plus $1.95, laying the goal and a half. We have David Riddick for the Flames, Ben Bishop for Dallas. Bishop comes into this game with a 5-5 record. Meanwhile, on the other side, for the Flames, Riddick is 9-4-2 overall for the season, 2.74 goals against, 914 save percentage. Calgary's 4-2 straight up in their last 6, 6-1-2 at home. They're just 3 points back of first place in the Pacific Division. They also rank in the top 10 in home scoring. Tkachuk and Lindholm have 10 goals apiece for the Flames. Gaudreau has 17 points total, 12 assists. And Ryan has 9 points total on the year. He's +5. Dallas on the other side ranks in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 10 in offensive shots. Winners in just 3 out of 9 on the road this year. They're in 5th place in the Central Division. And they're 10 points back of first place in that division. Now, total-wise, Calgary is 6-3 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Flames, -140. In the over, 5.5 in that game. And we're going to slide into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blackhawks, Golden Knights. 10 o'clock T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. The Golden Knights are -225 at home, total 6.5. We did see a 10-cent move toward Vegas. They opened 215 up to -225, total 6.5. 82% are leaning Vegas, 53% shaded toward the over. Right now, Chicago's plus 190 on the money line. Vegas plus $1.10, laying the goal and a half. We have Marc-Andre Fleury for the Golden Knights. Robbie Lehner for the Blackhawks. Lehner's 4-3 with a 2.51 goals against and a 9.34 save percentage. Chicago's 3-2 straight up in their last 5, 4-3 against the spread away from home. Patrick Kane has 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. Strome has 9 assists, 12 points. He's also plus 6 on the year for Chicago. Now Vegas struggling a little bit as of late. Losers in their last 3 straight. They're also 2-6 straight up in their last 8 games. They failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9 at home with regard to the puck line. They also rank in the bottom 10 in shots allowed. A couple more things to add about this Vegas squad. They're bottom 10 in shots allowed at home as well, and they're in the bottom 3 in goals allowed at home. Now, total-wise, Vegas is 3-1 to the under in their last 4. Chicago 5-2 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Chicago plus 1.5 and the under 6.5 goals in that game. And we're going to slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 8-2 in our last 10 board member package plays. I'm going to lean Chicago plus 1.5, under 6.5. Calgary minus 140, over 5.5. Washington minus 120, over 6.5. Islanders minus 120, over 6 goals. And last but certainly not least, I have Ottawa plus 1.5 and the over 6.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to JMB, Rob D, Greg Schur, Ulysses Hayes, Vernon Williard, Milan DQ87, Shotgun Shell 80, Atlantic City Michelin, Ronnie Christie, Lane Eternal Master, Jersey Digmore, Square 707 Steam PS4, shout out to Sir Manning, Tiana Dampier, Kendall Hall, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Lawrence Bess. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily plays on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And a lot of folks will ask me what's the difference between Patreon and YouTube. Well, what I do here on this YouTube program is that I handicap every single game on the slate, both the side and the total. Well, if you were to bet your hard-earned money that way on every single game on the board, both the side and the total, you will 100% lose in the long run. You'll lose all your money. The books are too good. They're too smart. The math is always against you. What we do on Patreon is we're really focused and dialed in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're personal selections of mine, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you what, my record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is on YouTube. And you can check out that current record for free right now. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. It's right on the homepage. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Wednesday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.